Back at it early this morning.
Yeah, no kidding.
We saw something and figured it was worth podcasting about. But before we do, spoilers for both The Walking Dead comic.
Oh, no.
The Walking Dead show, and Sons of Anarchy.
Spoilers for days. I know you got some breaking news, man. Breaking news.
Yeah, we see that the role of Beta has been cast. We're talking about Ryan Hurst from Sons of Anarchy. Now, if you've seen Sons of Anarchy, then you know he played Opie Winston, who was just an amazing character and it's met like one of the saddest ends of any character in any show that I've ever seen. It's like the most tragic thing ever. It was devastating. It took me. Well, I told you about his wife. I didn't tell you about his. His was it was brutal and hard.
Sons of Anarchy, man. That's one of those watershed shows that just kind of I just kind of missed the boat on it.
You definitely should go back and watch it because even though I told you about him, I mean, there's still tons of twists and turns. I mean, you love mafia type shows. I mean, this is similar. It's just on motorcycles.
Yeah, I've seen. I've kind of seen some stuff here and there. I had a lot of friends who watched it, so I saw some pretty brutal, like, key moments throughout the series. So
and if you don't read the comics and you don't know who Beta is, well, I'm sure you've heard lots of talks of the Whisperers, as the new enemies coming up on The Walking Dead. Comic fans have been wanting to see them for the last several seasons, and it looks like now they're finally moving towards doing this. We saw that Alpha was cast a couple of months ago. Now Beta has been cast. Beta is basically the big muscle behind Alpha, and yet he's terrified of Alpha. She punks him down a couple of times in the comics.
It's kind of like a Ren and Stimpy sort of situation, Like Stimpy's way bigger than Ren, but Ren still just slaps Stimpy silly whenever he feels like it.
And Beta basically, and I think Ryan Hurst is good casting for Beta because, number one, like you and I talked about, a while back, Kane would have been a gay, because Beta doesn't talk all that much. He doesn't really have the most vocal role. I mean, he says things, but he's not a big conversationalist.
Yeah, when the WWF's Kane was, a younger, trimmer wrestler, he would have been a good fit. And yes, I still say WWF. I refuse to, bow to the whims of the World Wildlife Federation. I'm sure they do good work. Nonetheless, I think there's room for 2 WWFs in the world. Just my 2 cents for that. Anyway.
Okay, yeah. Well, there's 2 CDCs. There's a Center for Disease Control, and we have something here in our town. I can't remember what it's called, but it's acronym is CDC. So,
yeah.
But Ryan Hurst is, if you don't know who he is, definitely Google him. He's a stout fella. I think he's like 6'4", which of course isn't. Beta's freakishly tall, and forgive me, comic readers, for not knowing exactly. I don't know if they ever actually give his height in a comic. I just know he's freakishly tall. Like Negan is tall and brooding. Negan is what I would imagine to be around like 6'4", and Beta towers over. I mean, he's just, and it comes to find out that Beta is just a basketball player. Like once it's said and done, and Aaron kills him, which is after the Whisperer War. They take off his mask finally because this whole time you've never seen his face because he wears like a half mask. It doesn't really cover his entire face like some of the Whisperers. But you find out that they both recognize him, like he was a famous basketball player back when the world was Walker free. But Ryan Hurst, nonetheless, he's a stout fella. I mean, again, 6'4". I mean, he's a stocky dude. I think it's good casting.
Yeah, absolutely. And if we were going to see like a famous ex-athlete in the post-apocalypse, why couldn't it have been a wrestler? I think a wrestler would have been more apt to survive in this kind of environment.
Are you still pitching for Kane?
I'm still pitching for Kane, brother.
He would be. Kane or The Undertaker could play it. I mean, just somebody. I mean, Kane's the tallest one, but I mean,
yeah, and Kane's got some acting cred under his belt. He did some movie.
He's in politics now.
Ago. Yeah, that's right. He's like a mayor or something. Yeah,
he's into politics now. But so Ryan Hurst from Sons of Anarchy, and I'm pretty sure he was in Remember the Titans as well. It's been a while since I've seen that movie. But he's going to be playing Beta, which is kind of, again, the strong side. And he's going to actually have a crucial role, too. So Sons of Anarchy fans that might be like, oh, man, he's being put in a backseat role. It's like, no, I mean, I don't know how it's going to happen in the show. And we did warn you, comic spoilers. But, Negan infiltrates the Whisperers and straight up slices Alpha's head off.
Yeah. Well, but first he woos her. Oh, man, it's such a roller coaster.
He seduces her. And you thought they were kind of going to be king and queen of the Whisperers, but then Negan just straight up takes a knife and saws her head off and takes it to Rick as kind of a peace offering, which leaves Beta to rule and lead the Whisperers. And Beta is responsible for quite a few key deaths. Again, spoilers, I hate just throwing all this out there, but, Beta was responsible for Father Gabriel's death. There was several others that he caused, and one that you could say he caused was Andrea.
Yeah.
She got bit and hit in the horde that he steered to them. See, the thing about the Whisperers, for those of you that don't read the comics, the Whisperers, they wear zombie skins. They wear the skins of the undead and just travel amongst them. They're very primitive. They believe basically that's why you have alpha and beta, kind of like a alpha male type thing, which in this case alpha is a female. But if you can kill the leader and take over, then you just kill the leader and you take over. And that's basically what you're dealing with. They believe in some screwed up stuff too. Like if you want to rape somebody, you just rape them. Like if you want it, you just take it. Like it's very back to a very primitive time in their worldview. And
they've definitely weaponized the dead more effectively than anyone. I mean, Negan, like tainted his weapons to, infect you, but yeah, nobody's weaponized the dead like the Whisperers, that's for sure.
What makes them so dangerous is their ability to steer herds. They'll infiltrate like a herd of walkers, and then they will steer them wherever they want. In fact, there's one part where Alpha takes Rick up onto a roof in the comics just to show him what he's dealing with, and shows him this gigantic herd of zombies. I mean, thousands of them that she can just steer pretty much wherever she wants. And it's pretty devastating. It's not like it was a very creative enemy for Kirkman to create. You know what I mean? Because we go through The Walking Dead, you dealt with tons of regular human threats, and then we got to Negan, who was really, as far as skill set, no different than any other human threat. He just was hilarious and just such a character. It made him so memorable, and he was a badass. But the Whisperers were really creative, and they're a completely different kind of threat than they've ever had to deal with.
And I think something on all of our minds, as avid comic readers, probably the mid-season finale, we're going to see some heads on some pikes.
Yeah, okay.
And whose heads are going to, we're throwing out comic spoilers.
I was going to say, I've said spoiler warning as much as I can. So again,
I can't hold it in, pal. I can't, much like the Buffalo Sliders did to me yesterday. I cannot hold it in, brother.
Well, and keep in mind, so again, spoilers, huge spoilers for the comics, but you've been warned. The thing about the Whisperers too was just because it's going to be interesting to see how they work this, because I don't have the name offhand, but I saw an article where they've cast Lydia, which is Alpha's daughter, and that's what starts the whole Whisperer war. Carl runs into him, he takes Lydia back, kind of falls in love with her. Poor Sophia's stuck in the friend zone, and they have this just eye-licking, crazy young love, loss of innocence relationship, and Carl doesn't want her to go back, and Alpha wants her back, and that kind of starts the war. So how the show's going to do that, I don't know, because I thought maybe Alpha would have a son, and then maybe the son and what's her name? I feel so bad now. What is Enid? The son and Enid would fall in love, and she'd blah 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 blah. But they've cast the daughter, so I don't know how they're going to do this, how they're going to have the Whisperer War start. But there is a point where Rosita, King Ezekiel, and who else is it? It's one more. It was one more main character. Well, not main. He was a little less main. But anyways, it was three of them, and then it was like a whole row of heads. So it's just like tons of hilltop and Alexandrians' heads on walls. So, and I guess the kingdom with Ezekiel, but it's just a very I remember reading that and just being like, oh my God.
Yeah, man. It's some gripping storytelling. That was I really like that arc, and like you said, the component with the young love. I think we all remember your first kiss, hand holding.
First time a girl licked your eye socket.
Yeah, and I have a friend who's actually missing an eye, and he said it's so ridiculously easy if you're, he has a glass eye, of course. If that eye's out, to catch infection in that empty socket. So I always worry worried a little bit about Carl. I imagine antibiotics are a little hard to come by in this.
His almost like has skin over it though, like it's grown back. You know what I mean? It's weird.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's odd. But so, yes, Ryan Hurst will be playing Beta. So people that have been wanting the Whisperers on the show, rejoice. You're so close to your dream. They just cast Alpha, Beta, and Lydia. So I'm excited to see where it goes. Leave us your thoughts below. Let us know what you think. If you know who Ryan Hurst is, do you think he's going to be do a good job? If you don't know who he is, Google him. Take a look at him. He's on Sons of Anarchy, I think, is what really helped me instantly be like, oh yeah, he'll be a great Beta, because like I said, he's a tall, big guy. He's very, in Sons of Anarchy, he was very rugged, and he had another show, I believe. I can't remember what it was called because I didn't watch it, but it was about this mountain family. I can't remember the name of that show, but he was real rugged so a lot of it, two of his recent big roles, he's been very rugged looking. So, I mean, to play Beta is going to be interesting. And I really do hope we get to see the Negan-Beta interaction, because that's some of my favorite Negan moments in the comics, where he's just like, what are you, a rebel? What are you, like, hanging out? And what's up with the half mask? What do you think? Like, you're hiding in a crowd of walkers and just hope they don't notice your chin?
Yeah, it's definitely Negan at his best. That's for sure.
And you get to see Negan and Beta go at it, man. And then you get to see Jesus and Beta go at it. So, I mean, I'm so excited for this. I feel like if this is done right, this could be what The Walking Dead needs to kind of breathe new life into the show. Because you and I have both still been enjoying it. It's had its low points. We're not scared to admit that. But overall, we're still happy with the show. And
yeah, man, especially the back half of the last season. The season finale, I wasn't, blown away by. But I thought everything leading up to that was just dynamite.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So I'm really thinking bringing the Whisperers into the fold, if they do it right, is going to be awesome. So let us know what you think, and if you think you know of someone better they could have cast. I love thinking about. I've thought about a future where an alternate reality where John Hamm is Negan for so long, as well as Timothy Olyphant. I think that's how you say his name. Okay. Just several people that were mentioned to play Negan before Jeffrey Dean Morgan was cast, and I love Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Negan, but it's always cool to kind of imagine how someone else would have been. I still say John Hamm would be the best Negan there could be. I mean, without a doubt, man. He's got the look, the slicked back hair. He's a little stockier. He's just, John Hamm's awesome. But let us know who you think should play Beta, or if you're perfectly happy with Ryan Hurst. And
And if you've ever had any sort of erotic eye socket moments, let us know about that too. I'm interested to hear.
Oh, man. Let's see if we can keep our other hashtag going. We got one going last podcast for Fear the Walking Dead's last episode. Hashtag JP's Big Rig.
Oh, yeah. Are people jumping onto that?
Yeah, a few people have jumped onto it.
Well,
so
there's room for everybody.
If you want to know where that comes from, just check out our podcast from yesterday where we reviewed Fear the Walking Dead Season 4, Episode 11. And check back here for Walking Dead updates, episode reviews, comic reviews, and more.
Yeah, don't be a stranger.
And we will see you soon. I'm Justin.
And I'm JP.
On the Podcasting Dead.
Woo.